All right, Glenn, what have we got?
So tonight in the tent shed, we've got a guest that we've both worked with before. Why don't you go get him and we can introduce him to the audience.
Excellent, let's do it.
Damo!
Long time no see.
Welcome, mate.
How are you?
Where you been hiding for the last 12 years?
Oh, you know, just busy growing up. What have you guys been
So
doing?
you got a moustache.
Been building a shed, mate.
Yeah, this is coming along for November, mate.
Just started last November.
I started 5 years
Just
ago.
starting the clock. We've had a few chats in here that we've just totally lost track of time, or we've used the TV as a timer, and then the TV goes to sleep, and we're an hour and a half into the conversation, and we're going to do it at the time.
No,
So
that's fine.
we're going to use a timer.
Mate,
Look,
what can we get you for a drink?
drinks.
Well, I'd normally say a beer, and I see
Yes.
you've got Tapia. However, I'm
Yes.
doing dry July.
Ah,
So I've had a few non-alcoholic beers, but
I've got one here for you.
oh, look at that.
What's that one?
Great Northern.
Great Northern Zero.
I haven't had one of these ones, so
Yeah. Oh, well, if you don't like it, give it back.
I'll give it back when it's
We'll
empty.
put you in the Ipswich Eagles tonight.
Oh, thanks.
Jason?
Just the usual, mate. Thanks.
Usual.
Softy. Yep. So I thought we'd start tonight, Damo, by introducing you through something that we've done before.
Yeah.
So Glenn mentioned on the intro there that we've worked with you before, and we've mentioned you a couple of times. So just an easy way.
Good comments, yeah.
And only kind words. So to put a face to what we're talking about, because we've talked about neutral a number of times on the show, but I guess a lot of our audience have probably never seen it. So I've lined up a little best of, right? And this is probably the first time collectively that we've sat down in 10 years
Yeah.
and actually
Yeah.
seen this, right?
Yep.
So for anyone at home, Neutral Car Show was a YouTube show that
Sensation.
we did, yeah. Well, and that was probably what we started that about 12 years ago. We ran for 4 years.
2010, I think we shot the pilot in your charade, remember?
Yeah, I think Glennie was about 15 kilo lighter.
Mate, let me tell you,
No grey hairs.
probably about 30 kilos lighter and no grey hairs.
I was being nice, mate.
I think we're all a bit younger. So let's have a look at this. So this was a promo we shot after our third season.
Cheers, mate.
And let's just start off by watching this and gives the audience a bit about what we're about.
Hi and welcome to the first ever Sign up for this, mate. No, I don't know. Look at your glasses. Awesome, that was so cool. That's fantastic. The Gary's in it. So here we are at Coolangatta 2010 Winter Sun. Cars on the streets, people are out, the sun's beautiful. Let's check it out. I've got to say, I'm a huge fan of Neutral. Everyone should tune in and watch it, it's great.
Oh yeah, how were we actually approaching those girls going, can we get a shot?
Feel like you've spent the night in the cell. Welcome to the mic. Oh, that's right, you can't get into one of these utes unless you dress like a pretty boy.
Most people will know you for your 81 Masters range.
1, 2, 3. Oh, yes.
Is that a collective week?
Ridiculous, get out of the seat.
And if sipping tea like the Queen, party like Prince Harry.
How's how you fit in there?
Put the biggest boys and smallest guys.
Hi, I'm Jack Perkins from Super Cheap Auto Racing. You're watching the Neutral Car Show. Oh, wow.
Apparently the speed I was going was too quick. The chains couldn't keep up with me.
Yeah, he's got lights on, he must be on fire.
I didn't do that.
Well, I can think of one thing that's better than hanging out with your mates on a Sunday afternoon, and that's this.
Still got that helmet. That's not how we come now. How was that, Jason? There you go. I've worked out why they call it the D-Max. The D stands for dirt.
This is going to be the most out-of-control thing we've ever done, I reckon.
Everyone roll that bike over.
I threw the chain on the last turn and finished third.
Metal. Oh, Jesus.
Right, so it may look like I've got a part as an extra in the back of a B-grade flight movie. I don't care. There we go.
I painted that building. That was
We're all in here eating ice cream. I don't think NASCAR likes you coming in here to eat ice cream. There's enough goddamn trouble getting out there.
we were bored dropping around. How many kilometers did you do? Oh.
Thank you very much for your time. Thank you to Queensland Raceway. We're off to bed.
I remember filming that on 40 minutes done
Wow.
I don't think that was the best of. There were some pretty good bloopers that never made it to air.
Look, I think we talked about it. I'll just put this under
I think we were far better off air.
Oh man, we had some fun doing that, didn't we? And you know, I think looking back at that, we didn't realise what we were actually doing and how good it was for us to have fun as mates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a brilliant experience. Like
Yeah.
to do that, you know, some great experiences, working with some really good brands and some good people.
Yeah.
Meeting
Absolutely.
some great people.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
That's,
right.
I think some of those people that we met through the show, we still have relationships with today. Which
Absolutely.
is pretty
Well,
cool.
Nick that did the flight sim, I still talk to him on Facebook. And
Yeah,
how long ago was
Nick
that? Like,
Cranenberg,
yeah.
and, he's fantastic. And Shane Tucker,
Yep.
he's gone on to some great things. We've reached out to Shane because he's involved with the tequila company now. He started a tequila company.
Yeah.
I really love to have a chat about that. But,
Yeah.
but it's just so funny that when we just look back on that, like you forget some of the things we did.
Forget how much we did.
Yeah.
That was a
50
lot.
episodes, I think it was in total.
You've done some editing.
Yeah. Yeah. And to Glenn's point, like each show was about what 10 minutes, like because we had a short attention span, but to get that 10 minutes of footage, I think while we were shooting
Hey, mate, hey. Sometimes it was days,
hours and hours of footage
Yeah.
over a day or so, we would end up with like 3 or 4 hours of footage
Yeah.
to put together 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But most of that's just because we were shit. We couldn't get lines like that one of us at Rebel Domain when that first opened. We're sitting there,
How
the three
many
of us.
takes? How many takes was that?
Oh,
I don't know.
Yeah,
It's probably 40 minutes of us just sitting there trying to deliver like a 10-second line or something.
No, it was
Quite
That's what it was like.
it was pretty good, but that was a long time ago.
It was.
What do
And
you
now you guys are here.
Yeah. Well,
So how about I interview you? What's going on?
well, we decided we didn't want to be on the road anymore, so we built a bar.
Yeah.
No, look, we built the bar, as you know, and obviously I don't know whether you've seen the first shows, and we spoke about it with Rob, who was our first guy. We built the bar to create that community camaraderie.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important. And mental health, males, females, children's mental health, you know, that gets overlooked. And that's what we're trying to do, is just raise awareness for that and doing it in a safe environment at a bar, and we just have a chat to people, and people come here on Sundays, and like we said in previous episodes, and it's more about just picking your mates up when they're down.
Yeah. Oh, 100%, mate. I think it's like, I've obviously, you know, learned a little bit of the concept and watched some previous shows, and I think it's brilliant. Like, we're all sort of at that age now where you've sort of been really busy, kids are young,
Yeah.
and you sort of separate from your mates a little bit because everyone's sort of doing their own thing. And I think if you've got that, you know, you're on the wrong side of town to me, but
Yeah.
if you've got that sort of common area to come to and your mates can just drop in whenever they want, then I think they're not alone.
That's right, mate. That's exactly
Yeah, and I
right.
think it's every Sunday pretty much Glenn throws out again on social media, and you've probably seen them.
Yeah.
Sheds open.
Sheds
Yeah,
open.
Some people rock up. Sometimes you have a couple of people here, and you know, other times it's we need to hire security.
Yeah. We need to social distance.
Yeah.
I need to get a check-in QR code, I think, some weeks. But yeah, no, it's a good thing, Damo, and you know, it's obviously something that I'm passionate about.
Yep.
And Jason's obviously on board with it, and it's mate, if we can help one person, you know, like I've been helped by one person. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, mate. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
But
So,
And we talked about rebooting the old show, but then we looked at each other and went, you know what, we're a bit old to be running around and, you know, spending days, weekends and stuff doing that. Let's come up with a different show where we could, you know, do something different. And we got lazy, so we just set up 3 cameras, we walk in, we just set them roll and we talk for an hour and then turn them off.
that's it.
Right, so the edit time's down, but
Yeah.
you know, I think it's like what we got out of Neutral, as we just said, there was so many people that we met through that,
Yep.
right, had a story to tell. Like there's
Yes.
so much that we learnt
Yeah.
from those people behind the scenes.
Yeah.
You know, like when we go to film, I remember like the segues on the Gold Coast, we'd sometimes get stuck in a 45-minute to 2-hour conversation with these people before we even got on to doing what we wanted to do.
Yeah.
And this here's the same opportunity to just bring those people in or bring other people in like yourself. You know, well, we're here to, I guess, reminisce and talk about what you're doing now, but yeah, we get those people in because everyone's got a story.
yeah.
And this is a way to, you know, not feature us as much. We still get our airtime and have a bit of a joke, but it's really all of those people that we did things with were behind the scenes, but now we can, you can
Talk to
put it in
people in
front of the
person.
camera.
No, I think it's great. Well done, guys.
No,
Brilliant.
thanks, mate.
Thank you.
I know there's more to it as well, which we'll probably tap into a bit later. What you're trying to set out, like some of the previous shows I listened to
Yep.
or watched in regards to, you know, helping communities and doing like that booth or something
Yes,
like that.
the booth is what we're trying to raise money for
Yeah,
at the
the
moment.
pot.
And I think there's about $400 in Ted's tips at the moment. So
Yeah.
that's our idea, is to get to $3,000. So $3,000 buys us that booth,
Yep.
which we'll set up at Goodna, and it takes 2 more people off the street.
Yeah,
So
awesome.
it gives them a bed for the night.
Yeah.
So Helen's Haven can't house 132 or something sleep homeless in Goodna every night.
Yep.
She can only house 87. She's non-government funded. So yeah, if we can give her another 2 spots, that's what our first aim is. So once we get to that, we'll go down, film it, hand over the check, do whatever we need to do through Let's Talk, who's a registered charity, because we're not a registered charity as such yet, but we're doing it through Rob. And our first episode was with Rob, and that's just explaining, we're going to raise this, we're going to give it to Rob, but it's from the TED Show.
Yeah.
Until we can get our end sorted out, you know what I mean? So that's exactly
So
what
that's the
it's
first
about.
day, and then after that, we'll set another target, another
Yeah,
target,
I was,
and we'll grow.
I was talking to you last night about it. I was talking to someone, he said, what are you going to do next? Oh, Matty Queen. He goes, what are you thinking about doing next? And I
And
said,
Maddie's a patron, so
Matt-
just quick shout out to Maddie,
yeah,
thanks for your
Matty,
support.
yeah, exactly. And he's like, oh, he was around watching the Olympics last night, we're having a beer.
Yep.
What are you going to do next? And I was like, well, there's always spots where families, like obviously now I'm with a large family that's blended, to register kids for football or soccer or tennis or whatever is really expensive. So if there's a kid, I haven't even run this by you yet.
Yeah,
but,
sorry.
that's how it works. But if there's a kid that is going well, but his mum and dad just can't afford to buy him those new boots that he needs or golf clubs, or let's go and raise $500 and go, there you go, family.
Yeah.
Go and do the next year. You know,
That's awesome.
because
That's
you never know where that kid could go from that. And it might be sporting, but just that little bit he gets out of that might make him succeed in somewhere else in life. Because if you give people hope.
Yeah.
That's interesting though,
that's
because
pretty
we're all pretty much have had some sort of involvement in motorsport. You know, whether it be racing go-karts, and you we can even touch on it a bit later.
Crashing at Lakeside. No, sorry, did I bring that up?
I know that hasn't.
I'm just joking, mate. It's all right.
Sports cars, so like your BMW and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So, but you would know, and as we're all acutely aware, you know, people who progress through that industry are funded. It's not talent that rises to the top, it's the money that talks. And that's your point, but whether that be in motorsport, which is obviously a lot of money to
we
get there.
have to go and rob a bank to support.
But in
kids
some of
from
those other
motorsport.
sports, it's probably the same thing, right? To get to a certain level, you need commitment or funding. And even if it be like a sports person who's got to go away, or pay to go away to play at
That's
a regional
right, at a regional
championship.
championships, and
Yeah.
and I know from experience, like I obviously grew up with funds were short, and I remember one time with my AFL, it was, hey Glenn, if you try out for this state team, you're probably going to make it. Have you got $1,000 to go?
Yeah.
And we didn't have the money, so I didn't try out. It was that simple.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and we're
That's just
hoping
how it
that we
was.
can generate awareness through the show. So at the moment we're small, and Neutral was the same, which is a really good showcase. Anyone who thinks that they just start an endeavour, a YouTube channel, a TikTok account, or whatever, and overnight you got 45 million followers, and you don't have to work.
Yeah.
Well, we know that the TED Shed's going to start small, and every episode will bring a new audience member. Some of your friends might watch this show because you're on it. Some may not. But
He's only drinking Coke.
We'll talk about that later, Chase.
The thing is, each different episode. I mean, we had Rob on. And he would have brought his friends and family and people who are associated with that. Paul Burt, so people in the fishing, etc. So the more we do, the larger the audience becomes.
It's just reaching
give
out
us
to
the
people.
momentum.
Yeah, I reckon it's brilliant. Like if you could find like a sponsor to sponsor like a child or something like that.
Yes.
Hear me out. I'm not putting my hand up, but put yours up. No, but if like people could sit in and say, hey, because a lot of people might be a bit ashamed sometimes, so we don't want to let your kids down. So if they're in that situation, if you could have a community that they reach out to, and then you guys have a reach that you can touch on, like business owners or whatever it may be, and say, hey, we need to raise $400 for this.
Yeah.
You could easily probably find someone going, I'm going to sponsor that.
Yes, I know what you mean.
If someone might get satisfaction out of that, helping out.
Exactly.
You get to sort of see who you're helping and making sure they're the right people.
Yes.
You don't just want,
No, that's right,
you want
exactly.
kids with passion and drive and all that type of
That's
stuff.
right, exactly.
But I think you
totally
could easily
get it.
string something together like that.
Yeah, and it's multifaceted.
That's a
So,
good idea.
like we've got the Patreon page. So, excuse me, if you haven't seen the show before, we use Patreon to collect like a monthly subscription. So what we do is like this episode will be edited down for YouTube and it goes out free, and there'll be certain content on social media. But the extended edit, so the entire conversation we have, is exclusive to the Patreon members.
Yep.
But we also do other things, like we shot recently tours of the shed, because everyone who sees the show really just sees these three angles. So we did a bit of a tour and we talked about different things in here and what makes the shed. We sort of went around and discussed a few things. So that's exclusive to those patrons. So their contribution on a monthly basis gives us the money to help build up the kitty. But we're making content through them because we value that support.
Yeah.
But there's also, we raise people who come around, they put tips in the jar. And we believe, Glenn tells me that you've got a concept that you're going to help out with as well.
Well, what are you doing now, Damien? You're sitting here in a Bridgestone shirt. Obviously, the
So-
viewers at home don't know what you've been doing in the last 12 years, but I sort of do,
Not
obviously.
much. No, but I've like obviously always been connected sort of to Bridgestone, so I've got a Bridgestone franchise.
Yeah.
And I had probably when we did Neutral, like I started my first store 15 years ago.
Yeah.
So Saturday was actually my 15-year anniversary. So
Yeah, nice.
I was just 21, started my first store. However, I think when we probably started Neutral, I'd probably grown to probably three stores.
I think you had Springfield and Orion was about to come on.
Yeah, so now it's sort of 8 stores. It's sort of been pretty busy, and that's just trying to make sure that we keep growing, and we're bringing a lot of young people, and we've got a lot of staff, so bringing a lot of young people into our business.
Yeah.
And previously you'd try and just employ skilled labour and that, but we're sort of really trying to make sure we bring those young people through so that they can sort of learn our culture and ways to do things.
Yeah.
Which is a little bit frustrating at times.
Yeah.
However, the long-term plan is to do that. So, I'm at the moment trying to focus on finding young people with ambition that, some people might think I'm crazy, but trying to find kids that may not their parents may not have pushed them in a direction, because the industry that we're in, it's, tradies as such, you probably sign up with painters and stuff. You don't go to uni, you become a tradie, and it's like, I'm just doing this for a job.
Yep.
And it's kind of like, we need to have more purpose.
Where's
to
the
that.
career path in that?
Yeah, we're sort of trying to find young guys with, ambition, so that, hey, where do you want to be? Because you can grow and work for yourself and still be, pretty successful at what you want to do. So trying to find young guys or females as well that, have a bit of ambition, don't know where to start. And it's like, come in, take them under our wing, and we can sort of progress them through. And
Yeah, that's good.
So you said you're at 8 stores now.
yeah, we're at 8 stores now. Yeah,
So of the 8 stores, then what would your head count be on staff?
we're about 65 people.
Right.
Wow.
So that's a
Yeah.
pretty big employer in the local economy, then, right? 60 staff. That's
Yeah,
That's good.
That's
yeah.
sizable.
That's
yeah.
awesome,
So
mate. Well done.
we're small. We're small, but we're across 8 locations.
Yep.
So if I'd sometimes just be like, I wish we could be under just one roof. You can control things a lot better. Whereas
Yeah.
we sort of have 8 managers, supervisors, ops managers, general manager. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
there's a lot of people.
Absolutely. There's a lot of
In separate
personalities, man.
Lots of personalities, and we've been trying to make sure we've got leaders in each store. Like our managers of today need to be more leaders than just a manager of, I know that a tire's black and round, or I know how to service a car.
Yeah.
They need to be able to read people, and
Yeah.
especially in our industry where, of recent I'll hear stories about, this guy's down because something that's going on at home or something that's going on there. So the
Yep.
manager really needs to be able to read people and show a bit of empathy and sympathy and
Yep.
pick them up rather than,
Yep.
normally, historically, you just push people down,
Yeah.
Of course.
and that's
Yeah.
he's not performing today. It's because he's useless, and it's like, well, hang on, let's find out why he isn't performing.
That's right. Why are you having a flat day? And it's okay to have a flat day.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Exactly right. And we've got as leaders, effectively, and that's what I sort of try and preach into our guys. Is like you've got a duty of care.
Of course.
You know what I mean? And it's pretty hard to find people, and once they understand our business and our culture, like they're really valuable to us. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
we don't, we can't just go grab someone else off a shelf. Like,
No.
we're all human.
No, well, I think the unemployment rate at the moment in Australia is 4.9%, and you've probably got 5% of the population that don't want to work.
Yeah, and at the
Do you know what I
moment-
mean? And I'm not trying to be arseholes here, or
Yeah.
be an arsehole here.
No.
But that's the realistic side
Yeah.
of what you're picking out of to find these people, right?
Well, we couldn't employ someone the other day because we wanted to employ them full time, but that would affect their Centrelink. So we had to just,
Yeah,
and,
it's
and
hard.
that,
isn't
and
it?
that was sort of what it was, and the benefits that they were getting, and so we
Yep.
are dealing with that.
Of course.
But yeah, it's just what it is. That's what we're dealing with. So we can.
right.
But
you
it
know,
sounds like there is, because you just back to your first point there about getting people in. You've just mentioned that you've got leaders inside your business, like obviously store managers and guessing like a supervisor to manage multiple stores. So there is career progression
Definitely, yeah.
in there. You don't just come in and go, well, I've got nowhere to go.
You're in the
inside
tire
this
fitter bay, and
business.
that's where you're going to be when you're
Yeah,
retired.
it sounds like
No.
you do have opportunity within.
Yeah, but it's trying to get that in the younger people or any person, because a lot of people come in and it's like, oh, what's your job? Oh, I'm just a tyre fitter, or I just service cars. So I'm at the moment trying to really hammer in our purpose and
Yep.
what their purpose is,
Yep.
which we have, and then everything flows off there. So
Yeah.
it's not just, oh, I'm just here to do that, because then it's pretty mundane. It's like Groundhog Day.
Of course, mate.
And it's like,
you're not getting the best out of them every day because
that's right.
they get bored. And we spoke about that the other day. I think it was like, oh, the guy turns up the first day at the job and he gives you a flat out. The second day's good. The fifth
Yeah.
day's like, ugh.
Yep.
You know,
over
because
time
he
it
just,
becomes monotonous, right?
of course, 5 years down
Yeah.
the track, he's shit. I'm gonna go to work again today.
Yeah. No, exactly right. But back to your point.
We're all
As we-
pointing
as
at
we-
each other.
As we detour around.
Yeah,
So
there's no script here, Damo. We just
So what I was
Thanks for that.
thinking, and it depends on where your viewers are, but like our sort of stores, like if we're talking from where we are now, I've got some stores at Ipswich, Springfield, sort of Sumner Park, and then like Yarrabilba, Berrinba.
So southeast Queensland.
Yeah, like we went
southwest, is it? Where it's
South-
classed as
southwest,
southwest-ish?
southwest.
Well, Ipswich is west, so I guess.
Yeah, so it's that sort of western region.
corridor.
But I was just sort of thinking, like, as a business, how could we give back or help you guys raise the funds that you want to raise?
Yeah.
And for us, it's always, if someone comes to one of our stores, say purchases 4 tyres, I could then donate, say, $10 per tyre.
That's good.
So if they somehow, were able to make contact with you and say,
Yeah.
hey, Jason or Glenn, been to Bridgestone at Ipswich on this date. This
Yep.
is my name.
Yep.
You guys just tell me. I just look it up and go, yeah, bang. Here's
Yeah.
copy the invoice. Make
Awesome.
a donation.
Yeah, or could they? Can you put notes on an invoice? So, like, if someone walked in, for example, and just said code word the TED Shed, does that something that they can then at least send us the invoice that says like the TED Shed as a note? Is that something that could work? Or,
I think if
or if they
yeah,
just
I'm
send
just
us a
happy for
copy
them
of
to
the
send
receipt?
you. Yeah, you just send them a copy of the receipt.
Send us a copy of the receipt and we'll pass
And then
it
all
on
you
to
do is
Damo.
say, Damo, hey, you owe us $120.
Well, at the end of the day, people have got to buy tyres anyway.
Yeah, correct.
So if you're going to
Yeah.
go in and buy new tyres, and you've got to buy them from somewhere, so
Yeah.
why not support two great causes? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like the TED Shed, and then obviously you got to buy them anyway, so you
Yeah.
might as well come to someone that we know and is
Yeah.
a friend of the show.
And that's a great gesture, thanks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks, Damo, man. We
So
really
basically,
appreciate
so
that.
we understand correctly, someone comes to one of your stores, and what we'll do is make sure that they're listed
Yep.
Yeah,
in
we'll
the
put some
comments
credits up
below.
and- Yep.
After you like and subscribe, go and read what's down there. So we'll put all your stores in. So basically, anyone who buys a tyre from you,
Yeah, they don't even need to say anything to any
Right,
of our
okay.
salespeople or anything.
just
Yep.
let
All
us
they do
know.
is just purchase some tyres and then let you know.
Reach out to us.
That way then it doesn't make it difficult. It's just
Okay,
easy.
yeah, easy.
So it's a way for their
As of this date.
Right.
As
So you guys,
Yeah.
so you've bought the last couple of years.
No, just yeah, 12 tyres. I got all my receipts. No, okay.
You
So-
would still have your body receipt.
I don't even
It's just
know.
like,
No,
we got
no,
$250.
so yeah, today's the 27th of, or 26th of July.
Yeah, whatever.
So-
Whatever. If you bought some tyres yesterday,
You'll oh wow.
not you.
There you go. No, that's great. Thank you.
No, thank you, Damo. I appreciate that, mate. Hey, and
That's a
like
great
we said,
way.
it's going to go to a good cause. You know?
Yeah, 100%. Like I said, I think it's a great concept, and like I hope it grows. I'd love for it to grow, and I'd love for you guys to sort of knock on my door and say, hey, we've got someone that we're supporting, and they want to get back into the workforce or something,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and like try and make an entry for people back into the workforce.
Well,
like,
that's the thing, mate. When you're down and out and you feel like you can't get a job anywhere, you know what I mean? Like it's even
Yeah.
harder, you know. And then it's to have that avenue is great, you know, because there are young kids out there that do want to have a go,
Yeah.
but they feel like they can't get a go.
Yeah, well, there's probably a couple of different sets there, right? There's some kids, and you probably see it more than we do. You know, I live in a bubble, but it's really some kids I would imagine would come in and go,
so you see, he looked at me then when he said that.
yeah, it's the way we roll.
Shut up.
We basically have that. You know, I guess the demographic who would walk in and go, oh, I've changed tyres for a week, mate. I should be the manager now. Right?
Yeah.
They just think that they're, you know,
Yeah.
they haven't learnt the business. They just want
People
to go.
want to feel entitled.
Go to the top, right? And then you've
Yeah.
got the other ones who are, you know, willing to turn around and say, listen, I just want an opportunity,
Yeah.
and I'll work my guts out. I don't care if I am, you know, doing this job. It's not like it's, well, this is my only choice,
Yeah.
but they want to be in a workplace and have that camaraderie with, you know, colleagues and feel like there's a purpose.
But that is the challenge of today, and like we talk about it every single day. Is like loyalty is just disappearing. Like you know,
That's in
you
life
like we
in
see
general.
resumes and we're like, this is pages of locations that you've worked.
Yeah.
And people don't care. I'll work here for a month or 6 months, and I'll go to this place and I'll go there. Like that just is common now.
Yes.
Whereas loyalty's sort of fading away, and that's why I say to a lot of people like, play your cards right, and in 5 years' time you'd be there.
Yeah.
That's right.
And I see people like leave us and they bounce around, and then they, in 4 or 5 years' time, they like send their resume again. It's like, wow,
Come back around again.
if you were with us, you'd be.
yeah,
You'd be somewhere in the middle of the chain now.
definitely.
And I think loyalty in general in society is gone, mate. You know what I mean? Like it's swipe left, swipe right. You know, it's just, and you see that in
Yeah.
families. They just are breaking up so easily.
Yeah.
Because when it gets hard, they just we'll just go on to the next thing. And I think it's just such a throwaway society now, and to change that is really hard. And
It's gonna be scary, like if that's what it's evolved to now. Like I know from my parents' age to sort of mine, and so you sort of go,
What's
30,
next?
40 years. What's it going to be in another 30, 40 years? Like,
mate, and that's
I think
exactly
it'll
right.
be cyclical, right? I think, and if you,
What word's that? Do I need the dictionary? We got one of them here?
I've got a joke book.
I'm glad you didn't ask us to say it.
It's
What is it, Jess?
cyclical. Like things
Did you hear
work, things work on cycles, so they
Right.
come around. So I mean, we obviously, people talk about fashion, etc. But I think too, I mean, if you look at culture, well, I think we might be going through a period. But if you went back to like the 60s and 70s, everyone was like free love and
I wasn't
yeah.
Sorry,
all of that
I
stuff.
wasn't around then.
You're growing up.
No,
Moustache,
you
yeah,
were.
man. They had those in the 70s.
yeah, oh, there you go. Mows and beards are,
This was in
hey.
his prime in the 70s.
something that's gone around. But no, my point is,
Yeah.
there
Sorry,
was probably a period
Red
of time
Series.
when, like when our grandparents were growing up, everywhere they would go was suits,
Yeah.
and they were dressed to the occasion, and there was a huge level of strictness and etc. Then the next generation went to, or based that, we're hippies, it's free love and whatever. But I think as we're starting to see now with like attitudes and like jokes that we used to tell back when we were growing up that were appropriate, society's now sort of pushing back on that, saying,
Yeah.
well, no, that's not appropriate. You've got the Me Too movement, and you've got all of these other things where I think we're sort of seeing that cycle where we've come out of respect and, responsibility. And
In
then
Damo's parents' age.
yeah, exactly, through the
Yep.
grandparents, and then
Yep.
we've come through a bit of free living, and now there's that curve back up again where I think just generally there's a lot of conservative, no, you shouldn't be doing that. This is no, you don't treat people like that. This is respect. Which I think, and maybe we'll be wrong, but maybe our kids might be like what our grandparents were. They just went, what everyone went through in the 2000s was a bit, keyboard warriors and lack of respect and selfishness, and it might curve the other way.
I think the current pandemic's probably pushing society to think a little bit like that now. Like, I know my mindset has changed in the last couple of years. Like, I was off racing cars and doing all that, and when the COVID hit, my mindset has changed to stop and balance my life. And think about other things rather than what I'm hooked up into and what I'm doing, and you're taking a step back and having that empathy and looking at people and going, geez, you're having a bit of a tough time.
Yeah, but at the same time, I've been reading, particularly in the last couple of weeks, now that Sydney's gone crazy, and COVID is, one of these topics we talk about a lot. Yeah. I think it's every man for himself, like state versus state. Federalisation, this whole idea of we're Australians out the window. We're sitting here, like New South Wales is going, can we have vaccines, please? And WA's going, no, our borders are up, stuff you. Victoria's this, Queensland's going, we're locking you out, we don't care. It's like, it's state versus state.
Maybe in the politician level.
No, I don't know. I really feel that at the moment, not just a politics.
But I think it is that bit of mentality, because we're like, COVID's flared up in New South Wales, shut the border. You know what I mean?
Yeah, rightly or wrongly. I'm not saying it's a right or wrong position to take. Well, but Queenslanders are... Well, we don't care about the people in New South Wales. We just don't want it here. Shut the border. Shut the border. And that's a massive commentary that I see online, right? Yeah. When you look at polls, when you look at responses, when the Premier puts something out, ABC, talk back, everything's about shut it, we don't want it here.
Yeah, but that's because we don't want to go into a lockdown ourselves. So
that's right, it's people trying to protect themselves.
That's why I'm like,
exactly.
Yeah, of course, you would be with 60 staff.
Yeah.
If we go into a total lockdown, that's a lot of overheads you have to find each week with no one buying around black things, right?
Yeah, correct.
But how did you go when the pandemic first hit and business was expecting to be decimated? Did your business really see a downturn?
Yeah, we did downturn. Like, we definitely didn't see the 30% that we needed to get that government sort of support. But we're only, I think it was April, May, sort of last year, so 2020, April, May, that was down.
Yep.
And then the automotive industry was pretty good. So people started, servicing their cars. We at first didn't think that they'd be travelling as much, so they wouldn't be needing tyres. But I think everyone took that time to then get their cars fixed. They were working from home, they didn't need their car.
Yep.
So it wasn't too bad, and we sort of kept growing. Although it's kind of the challenges now, though, is not benchmarking against last year too much.
Yeah.
And then the competition with employment. So unemployment's low.
Yeah.
Mechanics, tyre fitters are sort of high demand, so they're earning much more than ever before. So there's a big, competition now about through employers about trying to poach people.
Yep.
There's no people flying into the country on visas and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that was a big amount. There's a lot of competition there.
Yeah.
So we're just having to sort of manage that.
Do you think people are driving more too because of, I hear that public transport numbers and congestion's increasing.
That's a good point,
public
actually.
transport's down and congestion's increasing because everyone's going, I'm going to drive in my car.
It's safer.
Yeah, so you seen that as a result then, that there's more service requirements on that, or?
We don't probably benefit from that. There's so many different reasons why we might be busy or quiet compared to normal. So it's hard to tell exactly that.
Yeah.
I do know that when people were working from home, having a mobile service or pick up, drop off was really good because they were working from home. Like, I'll get my car done now.
Yeah.
I'm not driving into the city or wherever I'm going.
So you did introduce alternative services?
Yeah, so we had to. So we, when it first happened, because we didn't know how long it was going to last for, and I was like, wow, I always have contingency plans in my head, but like, we're now got to live a real life one. And it was about, at first everyone's like, well, you just need to just get rid of heaps of staff. And I was like, man, the last 3 or 4 years, like, we've been trying to build good people. Like, we've had a high staff turn trying to get the right mindset people into our business that believe in what we're trying to do. So I was like, to go and get rid of those, and then what are they going to do?
Yep.
So we sort of said to the guys, if we see a downturn of this much in sales, we just need to, we need people to start taking some annual leave, and then we'll just cut back. Everyone can feel the pain, so we'll cut back to 4-day weeks or 3-day weeks.
And rotate your staff.
Yeah, and it was Pretty good, because a lot of places had just gone. They were thinking for themselves, businesses. I know one of our competitors went through and issued everyone new work agreements, saying you're now coming down to the award rate. You know, whether that's right or not, I don't know. But we just sort of, I went and kind of spoke to everyone individually, and you start to learn a lot of people's personal situations as well.
Yep.
So a lot of guys were like,
They would be worried.
I can't afford to do that. It's cool. You got some annual leave. Take the day off, but we'll use up your annual leave. And then some guys, some of our staff, and they're actually still with us today, like put their hand up and said, I'm in a pretty good position. I can take a week unpaid. Or I can take, and it was really interesting to see. Like,
but that's you building that right culture. Yeah, they want to still be there.
Yeah, 100%.
Do you know what I mean? They're not just going, I'll just go to the next guy.
No, that's exactly right. So we did that, and we were pretty lucky that May just started to climb for us.
Yeah.
And when we came, back out of it pretty quickly.
But it actually debunks a lot of theories, though, because I mean, once again, Glenn and I talk about a lot. We consume a lot of content and listen to people's opinions, but it debunks the myth that bosses are assholes. Like small businesses, they keep saying is the backbone of Australia. And you've just told us a story that as a small business owner, during a hard time, your first thing is not like, protect my wallet, protect my castle, I'm sacking people. The first thing you're actually doing is you're putting your workers first.
Yeah, I just looked at what do we need to do to pay the bills. It wasn't about profits or anything. It was just about paying the bills.
It's maintaining, mate.
But like, having said that, I think we've generally got good intentions.
Yeah.
But to our 65 sort of staff, they don't really know me.
No.
There's a handful that know me, and I might just sound like a salesman when I might say that, but I generally, we're trying to get the right people.
Yeah.
Although everyone's been burnt by an employer before.
Yeah.
However, we sort of just try and do the right thing, and like I just say, we just got to keep doing the right thing. There's going to be people that come and go because that's just their mentality.
That's right.
Yeah. There's no loyalty with them, no matter what you do, no matter how much you pay them.
Yeah.
They're on seek and they're always looking for another opportunity.
Yeah.
But that doesn't. Yeah, but we just got to keep doing the right thing, and hopefully, in the long run, it sort of pays off.
I think that's success in life, Damo. If you get up and do the same thing every day and you're consistent at your outlook every day, I think you get success. Just from that.
Make it a habit.
Yeah, that's right. There's days when I get up and I think, oh, God damn, I've got to do this today, that today, this today.
Yeah.
But
do you love it when it rains?
No. No, I don't. Because I tell you
an excuse to get off work. It's an impact to your business.
Paint doesn't dry as quick.
Well, I've got ways around that. No. But it's a pain in the ass because I know I don't have as many staff as you, but you still plan your weeks.
Yeah.
So come Thursday afternoon at midday and it pisses down rain, then it's like, well, that job now is going to go into Monday, not finish Friday.
Yeah.
So then my Monday's now pissed off.
Yeah.
Because I should have been there at 6:30. I'm now there at.
So I was going to say,
so you're going there Tuesday because I'm not going there Monday.
Inconvenience the next customer because you had to push by 2 days because the previous job.
Absolutely right. So is rain good? No.
But things like
hiccup good? No.
Roof restorations would be out, exterior painting would be out.
Yeah, man. No.
So inclement weather would affect what? 30 to 40% of your business, or?
Oh, absolutely, 100%. And I had a job the other week at Sumner Park, right near one of your stores, and I'm up there going away.
Wow. Didn't drop in, say hi?
Spraying a roof. Wow. He's too busy. I tried to drop in the other day. Anyway, that's another story. So but then a storm rolled in from Toowoomba that wasn't even predicted. And I don't have the radio on when I'm on a roof because you're up there doing your thing, you're concentrating.
Yeah.
Turn around, I'm like, oh shit, $300 of the paint gone.
Just washed off.
Yeah, man. What do you do? I don't.
But then there'd be days that you don't paint because it's meant to rain and it doesn't rain.
Oh yeah. I said to Paul Burt when he was here the other day, I said, mate, if I got my job wrong as much as you did, I'd be sacked.
That's hilarious.
Good point. Good point.
It was a good interview, that one. So do you see then, because Glenn's saying that it obviously affects his business range, do you see weather impact your business? I.e., how many people
everyone used to say, it's raining, geez, everyone's slipping on the road and come in, but...
Doesn't happen?
Maybe
There's just one, I see so many cars...
It'd be a couple of percent.
Bald tyres galore, do those people get to a... Because we can have periods of extended no rain, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, they just go back complaining down the road and they go, oh, okay, now I've got to get my tyres done.
Yeah, I think it highlights to a few people, I need to do my tyres, but it's not like it rains and the floodgates open and we're just busy as. Yeah. There might be the odd person.
Someone comes sliding in through the door sideways going, I think I need some new tyres, mate.
But I think most people, a lot of people know they need tyres.
Yeah.
It's just either
just
budget.
money and other
It's
things.
budgeting
Budget.
for it. It's time. Like a lot of people, like tradies and that, are just busy, so they can't come in. So that's why, like, you know, with a lot of our staff, it's like we need to have that mentality, like find a way to make it happen.
Yeah.
So
If I call
that's
you
the
at 11,
biggest thing.
Hey, Damo, I've just been rained out. Can you
Yeah.
get my car in?
And like customers are good. Like if we're like, hey mate, we're under the pump. However, we will make some slots. You're like, hey, I don't mind if it takes a little bit longer. I appreciate you getting me in.
Yeah.
That's right.
Rather than, no, sorry mate, not today.
And there would be companies out there that just don't give a shit. Right?
Yeah, I always say to our guys, like, tyres is like fast food. Like, if you went through the McDonald's drive-through, like you do, Glenn. I saw you going through it the other day. And they said, oh, sorry, we can't serve you now. Come back an hour.
I hate when the ice cream machine's out.
You'd go straight to the KFC drive-through, wouldn't you?
No, I was going to say McDonald's only do a 32 flavour slushies, but every time your kids go, let's go and get $1 slushy, Dad.
Well, you got one-
Can I have a $1 slushy? I'm sorry, our slushy machine's not working today. Oh my God! So then you know
Well, you're there, so you get a hot apple pie.
Exactly. That's an upsell, I reckon.
Do you?
This
You walk in yourself. You're lucky Howie's on here.
I don't
We'd
walk
have a
anymore,
field
mate.
day
I
on
don't
you.
walk anymore.
I'll tell you what, it doesn't take much for us to slip back into like the old
No,
neutral days.
Not at all. Not at all.
Jesus. Oh, it's good times. Good times.
It is. Can I just go back to another point? I don't want to talk about your business too much because that's
Yeah.
not why we had you in
Balls
here.
me.
But go to work all day, then talk shop. So one of the other things you mentioned though about the guys on the floor, as a customer,
Yep.
and I guess it's a point that you touched on briefly, is these guys are working on your car.
Yep.
Right, which you'd expect as a customer, like they are paying attention, they're on the ball, they're not cutting corners because they're having a shit day or because they're bored.
Yeah.
That, you know, you're getting your brakes done, you're getting your car serviced, you're getting your tyres
your
done,
wheels
wheel
on
balance,
too,
wheel
mate.
alignments, everything.
right.
Yeah, exactly. Wheel nuts, all of those things. It's like that's the safety of everyone who's in that vehicle, right?
Yep.
So that's an interesting thing. Like the staff are like aware of that. Do they take that on board?
Like, I'm starting to like. So like my role in our business now is trying to sort of get out of the way of the people and start focusing on our mission, our vision, our purpose, and try. I listened to a podcast once, and
Just once?
Yeah, you've heard one
I listened to a
podcast.
few. Listened to a few.
Sorry.
No, I'm Teflon. And I'll throw it back. And the guy was walking through NASA to do some training, and he walked up to the guy mopping the floor, and he said, "Oh, you know, what's your job here?" And he said, "Oh, I'm here to put a man on the moon."
Right.
And the penny just sort of dropped, and I was like, "We got guys that always say, I'm just a tyre fitter, like I said before, I'm just a mechanic." And I was like, "No, what's our purpose?" And it's, you know, to provide customers with a peace of mind of a well-maintained and reliable motor vehicle.
Yeah.
So if you send your wife down to our store, and we might just do a puncher on your, fix a leaking tyre or something like that, and it left, you'd want to be sure that that car's safe.
Yeah.
And if the brakes were worn on it or something wasn't right, that we would notify you.
Yep.
And if we didn't, like that's our duty of care, is to
Yeah.
make sure that your family's safe.
Absolutely.
And if we can execute that and do that, then you're like, that's the place I go to.
Yep.
So I've been trying to
Peace
drum
of
that
mind.
into the guys, is you're not just a tyre fitter, like your job is to do all, to provide customers with that peace of mind.
Yeah.
And these are all the tools we have to do that.
Yep.
All these processes and procedures are to ensure that we do that.
Yep.
And have some satisfaction in what they do, because
Yep.
especially for mechanics, it's quite a complex job now. Electronics diagnosing, it's not that easy. I know that some spare parts salespeople are like, you can do it yourself, like all you people at Bunnings,
Yeah.
but it's not quite that easy.
No, that's
Yeah.
right.
You need special tooling. You need to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you end up costing yourself more money.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So I'm sort of like trying to drum into the guys, be proud of what you do.
Yeah.
That customer might second guess you or Google it and know better than you. But then when they come in, like, go and show them what you've done and be proud of it. And
Yep.
we've got tools now that we video the car and we send it to the customer
Oh, wow.
to try and because mechanics are just current affair, tell everyone they're ripping them off. So
Yeah.
we're trying to,
Your point about the brakes was an interesting one because you'd assume that a lot of people might be going, "Oh, I went in for a puncture and this guy's telling me I got to do my rotors
Yeah.
done and my brake pads. They're just
And we're
trying to
not-
upsell me."
we're not trying to sort of sell. It's just advising, and
Yeah.
like we said, we got a duty of care. So if it's not going to make it to the next service or something along those lines, and it's like you need to just tell the customer, don't do a hard sell. We're not there for that.
No.
It's just like, hey Jace, we've put on the invoice. You need these items. If you've got a mechanic you go to, there you go. And most of the time they don't, because A lot of customers aren't loyal anymore, like employees.
No, that's
so
right.
it's convenience.
Yeah.
However, like I said, it's important that we do that. Last thing we want is you bring your car to us and it leaves and fails.
Yeah.
And you're like, why didn't you tell me?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
and you're saying your video and things now so people can see you're changing the oil, you're changing, because I've heard some stories with some dealerships, and we're not going to name brands or anything, but people have marked certain things like spark plugs and marked their, certain things that they were meant to have changed.
Yeah.
The car comes back, they look at it, and the thing is still marked in the same spot, but they've been charged for new spark plugs, or they've been charged for new oil, and it hasn't even gone in the
I think
car.
that's any industry though. You're always going to have cowboys, aren't you?
But you wouldn't take that from a major dealership, Jace.
No, but it wouldn't be. It's not the vision of the people at the top. It's generally those workers undervalued and trying to get something, so they will take those parts for themselves
And do a service on the weekend.
Yeah, and that's generally
a real shame, isn't it?
It is, and it's. How do you make sure that doesn't happen? So, like someone in my position, we're not a dealership, we're smaller, but how do we make sure that we're delivering what we need to deliver?
Yep.
And you can't just like say, oh, you'll lose your job if you did that. Like they've got to sort of really believe in what they're executing and make sure they deliver that. But that's the challenge.
Maybe those people in those dealerships feel like they're being underpaid or feel like they're being used and feel like they need to make a leg up some other way.
Yeah, it's a
you know what I mean? It might be
cultural.
they've been dropped back to award wages through COVID and they go, stuff you, I'll go and do this to make a bit on the side because I still need to feed my family. And that's probably the biggest thing. And I don't even know with your kids, your kid doesn't come to you crying for no reason.
Yeah.
There's some reason why they're crying. It's an attention thing, it's they're not being heard, or so you need to work out what that problem is and why they're doing that.
Yep. No, definitely. But that's the aim. Every business, every business has its own challenges. You know.
Oh, absolutely.
I think as you get bigger, those little cracks get bigger as well.
Yeah.
And then it's it's a complete sort of different focus to keep growing and be sustainable. Like obviously we're connected to a pretty good brand, Bridgestone.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Global awareness is pretty good. However, there's challenges in that because all our competitors try and literally prostitute our product to get people in, and the old bait and switch.
Yep.
So we've got to have strategies around that, and the only point of difference are our people.
Yeah.
Like everyone's got the same tyre for the same price on the shelf in a convenient location, but our only difference is our people.
Yeah.
And if you want to come to one of our stores, then we want you to go, geez, that was a good experience.
Yeah.
It was better than where I was before.
Yes.
Not be like, oh, we should try the other place next time.
That's right.
Because it's only one bad experience and they're not coming back, right?
That's it, exactly right. And in today's world as well, it's pretty easy to voice your opinion.
Yeah.
Oh, mate, far out. Everyone's on the soapbox.
That's like our number one.
Soapbox is in your hand now.
Yeah, and like reviews, like a lot of different incoming reviews, come directly to me, so I get to see all the good, all the bad.
Is it more bad though because people who are happy with the service don't speak up, and it's people who are pissed off go, I'm going to stitch you up?
If I went back 4
like...
or 5 years ago, you only ever heard about the bad news.
Right.
Whereas I think today I had about 20 reviews come through from one area.
Yeah.
And all 20 of them were good.
That's awesome.
And they're starting to mention people, the mechanic or the salesperson.
That's
that's now the place that I go to, and I love that. It's really good because then you can share it with the guys.
Yeah.
If there is a bad one, then it's like, hey, you can't be perfect every single time. You will drop the ball occasionally.
Yeah.
That's
and it's like, how do we learn from that and just get on with it? We don't cry about it. Just if we stuffed it, we put our hand up. Let's fix it. Let's move on.
Yeah. That's the other thing, and I think we've spoken about this previously as well, Jace, is if there's a situation that goes bad, you're accountable for some of that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I think once people realise that, and I've got situations in my life I'll look back on now and go, hey, I was accountable for that.
Yeah.
And the parts of that I was accountable for, and I could have done things differently through business and personal life. And I think that's, for the viewers at home, stand up and take your own bloody medicine. If you've done something wrong, stand up and go, hey,
Own it.
I'm here to fix it. How can we sort it out?
Yeah.
Because that's the biggest thing, and that might be, through your business, or you've just bloody gone to the shops and kicked something over, but you go, oh shit, I'm going to walk away from it. I'll stand there and I'll try and pick it up.
Yeah.
But I think that's the mindset, and it's all about mindset. Like my trainer says to me, he goes, every morning I wake up and I think of 5 things I'm grateful for today.
Yeah.
And I think we've spoken about this.
Yeah.
Because it might be, I don't have a car, but I've got a push bike. Well, it's something, you know what I mean? It's what you're grateful for now.
Yeah.
And that's something that you can carry through from whether you're a tyre fitter or you're the CEO of a company.
Well, I think one of the things that I've learned, because we've obviously known each other for a long time, like growing up as a teenager, I would have thought of Bridgestone or the Bridgestone Select stores as big multinational, big corporation, and they're just churning out services, right? They're just a big thing. And I would differentiate the difference between the local mechanic who's a small business working for himself and maybe has one guy, and then look at like the tyre store and go, yeah, that's just this big company, like a Macca's kind of thing that's just
commercialised.
Big commercial, stuff then, because all of them, it's just but when you actually look at it, your stores, for example, you're a small business owner.
Yeah.
The mechanics there, you are almost in effect, if you started with your one store, you're no different to that small mechanic working there. You're a small business with a group of guys delivering a service. You're not the big multinational. The brand is, right, but the service and the people running that store, are people like yourself.
Well, Damo started as a mechanic, mate.
Yeah, I'm a mechanic by trade.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, and you are right. Like, yes, we are still connected to Bridgestone, and that obviously benefits us.
Well, it's like me using Dulux paint. People see that as a well-known brand. They trust it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no, definitely. But we're sort of like obviously promotions. Our website is managed by Bridgestone, and all of that's done properly. If we were to do that ourselves at our level, then our budget's only so big.
Yeah.
So yes, we pay franchise fees, and that goes towards all that.
The ads you see on TV and
I guess
that's
my
all-
point
that's
is
all
though,
Bridgestone.
when you see that brand on the wall, it's not a big multinational.
No, it's a guy that owns
it is still that. And what sort of highlights that the most is like we do get customers from time to time that will blame us for something that's not related to anything that we've done, and they just see it as like a big brand. And I always say, if you went and got a burger from this little burger shop, Glenn's Burgers, and he's just a little guy,
trying to say, mate.
little guy in the corner, and there's an issue with the burger, you just be like, oh, I got food poisoning, I was a bit sick.
Yeah.
But if it was McDonald's that you got that burger from,
Yeah. You go.
they behave a lot differently.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's what we see sometimes is, there's been cases where they want a new car and you're like, really? Like, well, I just like, our pocket's only so big. It's just unrealistic. But I think that's going to happen. And I think people have a voice now, and that's a lot of the time, if you don't fix this, I'm going to spray you on Facebook and all social media, and you're just right, okay, so you're starting with that. All right.
Yeah.
We know where you're going.
Exactly.
But yeah, like, to answer your question, yes, we are connected to Bridgestone, but we are still just a
Still it's a
You're
small
still
business.
little
you
guy
still got a
just trying to
family and you're trying to make your way, and that's
definitely.
exactly right.
Oh, that's great. And like to go back full circle now, we're almost at the hour. So to go full circle, that's great because you as a small business, have got that opportunity. When people support your business, you're going to support us.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. We really appreciate that, Damo. And like we said, it's people have to go buy tyres somewhere.
Yeah.
So if you want to contribute to something that we're a part of, you can do that through your
If you're in
stores.
Brisbane, go to the stores below. I think, look, and based on the time, we usually get to this. I've been looking at my phone, not checking text, Damo. I'm not ignoring you. We're pretty much at time to... hang on, no, next guest. What? No, look, we're pretty much at a point in time where we start to wrap up. So Glenn's organised for you. So thanks very much for coming in. It's been great to catch up.
Well done, boys. I think what you've done is sensational, and I hope that it has its full effect and you get a few lads in from the community. And
Thank you, and thanks for your support.
no dramas at all.
Damo's the only guest we've had so far that actually knew Ted.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
I think you and I actually shared a few beers down in Melbourne at one of your dad's drinking.
Yes, we
drinking
did.
holes.
We did, yes.
I can't remember what it was
The
called.
Wheelbarrow and Jackson on... Is it the Wheelbarrow and
Is
Jackson?
that opposite
across Flinders
Flinders
Street?
Street
Yes.
Station? Yeah.
So, Damo and I went to the Formula 1 in the February. Dad died... No, when did we go there?
We went there March. So
March, and
yeah.
Dad died in the February.
Yeah, correct.
So it
Couple
was
of weeks
just
before.
after. Me and James Kelso and you.
Yeah, that's it. Went down, had a few beers.
We did.
There you go. Oh, it's been good to catch up, mate. Thanks for coming in and thanks for supporting the show. And,
Yeah, man, really appreciate that.
And hopefully, we'll get some people in our community who come on board and support your business, and in turn come back and help support the TED Show.
Hope we can get the ball rolling.
Yeah,
good.
cool.
Thanks,
Good to see
Damo.
you, Danny.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
Anyway, mate, thanks for your time. Good to see
Yes,
you.
thank you.
All right, guys, I'm going to wrap up on this camera here. Thanks for joining us. Hope you got a little bit out of it. We talk about neutral a lot, so we've obviously seen a little bit about these three buffheads here who started that project. So yeah, thanks for your time. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. And once again, the best thing you can do to support us is, like and share our content. Help us reach new audiences.
Yeah.
Excellent. See you next time.
Cheers.
Thanks for joining us in the shed. We hope you enjoyed our chat with Damo as much as we did. Damo, what do they do now?
Like, share, subscribe, and ding the bell.
Oh, nailed it.